Hey guys, how are you all today? Sorry I haven't been very active the last few days. I have not been feeling good. Not at all. Not at all. Oh man. I'm sitting here looking through some programs now, but I don't know what I'm doing with computers. Oh, oh, let me get some people in here. Oh, this for the last few days. My daughter hasn't went to school all week. She's been home all week. I don't get it. Oh. Trying to share this out real quick. Hi, how are you, Veronica? Or nope, that's not Bernice. Sorry, Bernice. Sorry. I have, if anybody is in need of it, I have a ton of books on random different things. So I've got a lot of forms. I have a lot of like um, legal forms that are like straight out of the books. If anybody is in need of anything in particular. How is everybody today? I was trying to send out a couple of invites. It's way earlier than I'm usually on, so I'm trying to get on here earlier. I just have a lot going on usually. Um, but I have been diligently working on all of this stuff still. Um, I did earlier today, I think I did the certificate of ownership the correct way, but I'm going to check it before I actually send it in because that's one of like the more important. I think I did the certificate of ownership the correct way, but I'm going to check it before I actually send it in because that's one of like the more important parts. Oh man. Is anybody working this postal process and have any questions about anything? I'm sure y'all probably can't even see the screen because of what's back there. Let me make it a little darker. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Yeah. Promissory notes, that's what I just had on there. If you send me a message, I actually just went through and screenshotted a bunch of different promissory note stuff. And I also have like this attorney's notes. I posted it a couple of stuff. And I also have like this attorney's notes. I posted it a couple times in the background, but where I got these books and they actually belonged to an attorney. Um, I had her notes where she was writing little notes about the negotiable instruments in her UCC book, and I have those, and I've been putting them in the background here, but I don't think very many people have caught on to that. I try to put whatever and usually whatever I've got in the background is probably something you'd want to screenshot. Just a FYI for future reference, most of the stuff that I put up is not just for no reason. There's a reason for it. Um, but and I have slowed down on sharing the process just because I've noticed that a lot of people want to do this, and I think everybody should do it, but I think we should all be knowledgeable on what we're doing before we just go and do it. So, um, you've already got it all ready to go. Do you have your post office stuff done? Like, are you your own postmaster? I mean, it's really, as much as I hear people talking about this form, that form, oh, okay, so like your 56F and all that good stuff. Oh, well, that's good because like there's well, that's good because like there's really not a lot of forms to well, just to get the process started. It's not a whole lot, but those are very important. That's what I've done so far is my 56s, and I did my 2848 for my power of attorney, um, and for my power of attorney, um, and I'm think I know what I'm doing for the last part, but I'm not sure that that's the last part. I don't know. Um, but I think I need like a good will in place, maybe. I'm, I'm working on getting it all together. Like I said, I want everybody needs help right now, and I'm not by any means saying that anyone is more deserving than anyone else. But what I am saying is that we have got to be knowledgeable about what we're doing. We can't just go doing. That's how people get in trouble, and that's that's what we're trying not to do. And I learned as I started teaching people this that if I'm gonna take on something like that, it's I've got to make sure that the people that are doing it are knowledgeable about what they're doing. It's not just people going and filing paperwork to get their bills paid. I mean, that's what we all need ultimately, and that's the goal. But we need to do it knowledgeably, not just shooting in the dark. Good morning or good evening, Salone. I was beginning to worry about you.
Hello, my lady. How are you?
I'm good. I've been sick the last few days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. It's giving me time
Are
to
you
just put
drinking
good
are
things.
you drinking a half a teaspoon of baking soda and some water every morning?
I haven't been, but I've been taking honey.
Try the baking soda that alkalizes your body.
Good to know. Yes. And I do my mushroom stuff, so like I've always got something mushroom. I try once a day to have some sort of mushroom intake. I think they're here to cure the world. They're so neat. Oh, I was so lazy tonight. I said we're just gonna order a pizza. But yeah, I've been thinking about the process that I'm doing, and as of right now, I've got it to where it's 6 classes. But I don't really want to do it anymore until I know the end, the last piece that is done. There, because I don't. I mean, I don't know. Hmm. Hold on one second. I don't know right now the classes. Like I said, I don't really want to teach anymore. I'm not. How do I teach something that that I've not completed, and I don't have the all the answers. I don't want to do that really. But I know that here's the catch 22. I know that if I continue and go any further, then I won't be able to teach it. So I'm kind of stuck here, not knowing what, not knowing whether to continue or. I mean, I know to continue with what I'm doing, but I don't know about teaching anybody anything.
I know in my journey, I realized because, I was doing this with other people. Of course, I was with Patrick and everybody. And just like with Patrick, um, it was all trial and error. It's kind of like throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks.
That's what I've been
And
saying I'm doing the
anybody
whole
that
time.
Right, and everybody that stuck through his teachings were, the only ones that actually made it were the ones with the ambition to keep going, to keep trying. And that's what I think Starseed people need to understand. You cannot be taught this. Yes, somebody can give you, you know, a road to walk, But in the end, it's always going to end up with you and how
Right.
you go about it, what your knowledge is, and how much you've educated or self-educated, how much you've educated yourself. Because I have family members, and I have people that are intrigued by my accomplishments, but they want it done for them. And it doesn't necessarily work like that because, you hear all these people that, give up their driver's license. I have a right to travel. I don't have to have a driver's license. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. You can do that. That's your right. But you also have to know the law to deal with the other side. So, and they go, well, why was I taken to jail? Now I'm taken to jail, you know, for driving with no license and no plate and blah, 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 blah. And they got all these fines. And it's like, did you know how to handle the situation? And that's what
Right.
people are missing. They want the handout of the forms. The forms are easy. You fill out the forms, you do what we say, but in the end, it's always going to be up to you. Because you have to learn to stand on your square. You have to know, because that's how they pick people off. They know if you're educated, self-educated. And I keep telling people that all the time. I'm like, there's two rules to this game. You cannot mix public with private. And rule number two, you better know your shit. Because you can have yourself set up out of the system all you want. You could still end up in jail. Are you going to know how to handle that?
Right. We can. So you make it across to the other side, but do you know how to operate there? Because that's more
Correct.
trouble.
Yep, that's my point. You stated it very well. Thank you.
Like you got to be able to stand on your own ground, stand on your stuff. Because even if you make it over there, if you don't know how to defend it, then what's
And
the
that's how
point?
they weed people out too. So I can give you all the forms and I can tell you how to fill them out. But when shit hits the fan, are you going to be able to hold your own? That's the question. And they will do a trial and error where they will challenge you just to see if you were a copycat or somebody that actually read, you know, a book like Fruits from a Poisonous Tree or Redemption.
Hmm. I've been getting into the Green Book
Yeah,
this
that's a
week,
good one too. Mm-hmm.
and I've got like so I had an attorney. Well, she posted them online, literally her entire law library for decoration. And I don't know if that's something that legally that you have to put in there because every time I see law books on like Facebook, it always says for decoration. And I'm like, those aren't for decoration. That's for knowledge. But I got her whole law library pretty much, like her UCC books, her property form books, like everything.
That's awesome.
And so that's where
I'm
I get
intrigued.
most of my stuff from. Is I have all of these books. Like I've got one. It's called 3D or Systematic Settlements 3D. It's a set of two books, and they're like I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool. And then I've got a set of five of the Social Security books. They're huge. Plus the federal, all of the federal stuff. And but yeah, she gave them to me. She was like, "Yeah, we're closing up." She was old, probably like in her 60s or 70s. She wasn't old, but she was older. So that's where a lot of my stuff comes from. I'm not like reading reading this stuff off the internet. I go and find it in a book.
Yeah, that's
Much better.
awesome. That is awesome. And you should actually, maybe share some information in those books, like on lives and stuff, because
Yeah,
that's
and I've read.
valuable information, and not everybody has you know access to such information. Why do you think some of these books are up to, like, I spent $1,500 on one book. Now ask yourself why that book was $1,500. It's a banking
Right.
book. Because they know the majority, 90%, are not going to pay $1,500 for that book, but that book will definitely explain everything about getting out of the system.
Yeah, it'll pay for itself in no time. Yeah, I've
Exactly.
got wills of trust and estates, and then the Encyclopedia of Real Estate Forms, and then another, the planning and drafting of wills and trusts. I mean, I've got more, but that's just what I've got here on my bed right now. An elder law, because I was like, there's probably something that I'm looking for in elder law. Has to be something in here good.
Well, I was on a live the other day, and oh, I don't remember the live. It was Wit State or whatever, and they were talking about some stuff, and I said, whenever I have to go into court, you know what I do? I take I take the court back in time. So I pull the past forward as far as my law to get remedy. And that's what
Hmm.
most people don't do. Why do you think they keep changing law years after years after years? Because nobody will go back in time to pull that ancient law forward where your
Yeah.
rights are actually.
And you're supposed to. It actually, if you read, so I'm in a Commonwealth state where, I mean, it's basically the same, but it's not. The way that they go about making rulings is a little bit differently. They base it off of past trials, and if you go back far enough, and you go back to like before everything was so corrupt, you can definitely always win your case.
Right, because that law trumps anything forward. Like I use the peace treaty of what 1871 all the time.
Oh, and I applied to be a public or a notary republic or whatever. I sent off my stuff with the little $10 fee the other day, so hopefully that goes through.
Gigi, I just want to say I go to court because I fight other people's mortgages. So that's why I find myself in court because these people already got themselves in court. So that's why I go to court. To
So
your
you do more.
comment.
So you have to know about like the land patents from the families and stuff. You have to have some info on that.
Correct. But these people, what they do is they get themselves in a bind. They can't make their payments, and they find themselves in foreclosure court. It's all illegal. It's all maritime. They're not allowed to do it in the first place.
Legal.
But they need somebody that knows the law well enough to, you know, tell the courts they have no jurisdiction, because if you hire an attorney, the attorney gets a cut of the money when everything's finalized.
My family has got some land that they've had since like before the revolution, or I guess right after the Revolutionary War. My grandfather was awarded it, and it's still in the family. Like they've got a family cemetery out there and everything. The Waltons.
Yeah, if you have a piece of property and you bury somebody on it, then nobody can take it from you
Yep. I told my
because
grandma,
now it's a cemetery.
but I said something. This was whenever, I mean, I was still kind of new into this part of everything, and I had said something when we were up at the funeral home, and they were like, "Oh no, that's not true. That's not true."
Well,
I
of
was like,
course, the funeral home's going to say that because I'm going to tell you something about the funeral home.
uh,
When somebody dies, the funeral home is the one that goes and gets copies of the deceased person. All right? They get their paperwork. they're going to ask you, how many copies of the death certificate would you like? I told my mom when Dad died, I said 10.
Yep.
And the funeral person said, well, you should not get, you should get maybe 5. And I knew what he was doing,
He was gonna get some himself.
because he's going to collect 10, which creates more bonds, which going to make more securities out there. Okay. I knew what he was doing, and I think he was shocked that I said get 10 because you're only allowed 10. I told my mom get 10 because the funeral home takes 1. They securitize it and they live off of that for years to come. I think it's 10 years. The court, the state, and the treasury. I mean, you've got all these people taking the death certificate of the deceased person. Guess who's not taking it? But
The
one.
family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I told my grandpa
I had to go back and claim all those death certificates that everybody took because my mom did not know.
at least
And
you did
I
that.
told the funeral guy I want 10. He crapped his pants. He's like, well, you should probably just get 5. Told my mom that. I got up and walked out of the room. I was infuriated because I knew what was happening.
Yeah. I did this. I knew, and that's the same person that told me that I was wrong about being able to not have to pay property taxes when if you had somebody buried on your land. And like I told my grandpa, I was like, yeah, get 10. And they looked at him and they were like, you don't really, there's not really a need for that many. They were like, you're gonna need one for this and this. And I was like, I looked at
Right.
him.
They don't want you to get all 10 because you can claim all 10. Now the funeral, if you claim all 10, the funeral home can't claim, the state can't claim, the government
You know,
can't claim.
my grandmother. So my dad recently went and cleaned out a bunch of her stuff, and he was like, yeah, but I don't know why. He was like, she had a stack of family death certificates. And I was like, she did. He's like, yeah, I don't even know why she would have those. And I'm like, I do. She worked for the 12th district judge, and then before that, she worked for the chief fire department or whatever as their secretary. I was like, I do. I know why. I'm like, you
I, I want to answer Rissy's question. Yes, you can go back and get copies 5 years later because you got a 10-year window. The issue is how many were actually claimed by the funeral home. So did the funeral home get 10 copies, all 10 copies, and only give you 5? That's the question that you're going to ask, because if they did claim all 10, then you're not able to claim anymore. So what you have to go back and do is claim those bonds.
It's a 706. IRS form 706. Look at that.
I've got some papers from the not the IRS, but the other one, fiscal services, about claiming passed on relative stuff. I don't know if that's I don't know nothing about that kind of stuff really, but I know that's why she would save those, and I know that was her intention.
How would we find out if the funeral home claimed any, or how many they claimed?
Well, once you go try to claim all 10 and they go, well, all 10 were already claimed, then you'll know.
I just went to the vital statistics and got a copy of my mom's, and she'd passed 4 years ago, but I don't know if it was claimed or not. They didn't say anything. I don't know how to tell if it
Well,
was claimed or not.
you need to ask for 10.
Okay.
10 copies of the death certificate and see what they allow. And then you can also, I'm not sure how to do it, to be honest with you. Maybe Starseed knows. But there's got to be a way to see all the death certificates, because they all have a number, what went out.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a way to do that. I have not done it because I just recently had somebody die in my family, and I haven't gone through the whole process yet. So,
And I
because
haven't
I
at
had
this
never seen death until this year.
KW asked if they could spread their daughter's ashes in their backyard. Does that count?
Well, they don't need to
As a
know your
leftover?
business or how you do it. You just say somebody's buried out there. You're
Yep.
private. You're a private person. They don't need they're not going to come dig up bones or a grave.
Or ashes?
But they like to trick us into stuff all the time. Like they are constantly tricking us into stuff. And that's why if you don't know how to stand on your shit, then there's no point in going. There's no point in doing all the work or having somebody else do it for you. There's just no point if you can't stand on it. And I'm still learning. I haven't figured it all out yet. They could probably still stump me in a heartbeat, but I know to question things now and not take it for what they say. Give me a book.
Haley wants to know if you could claim all the death certificates if they have other living children.
I
Yes,
haven't
you
gotten it.
can as long as yes, you can as long as they have not nobody else has claimed them. Now, if somebody comes up and they know what you know, and say that child comes up and claims, then you may have to pay some taxes. So everything's a tax. Okay? So say for instance you go claim on somebody else, and then that person figures out the system and realizes they go and claim their portion, then and you've already claimed it all, then all you're going to do is get a tax, you know, something from the IRS saying you need to pay these taxes. But the majority of people don't know.
I think that the reason that they make taxes so confusing for us is because they don't want us to know that the IRS can be our best friend. They
Right,
intentionally
correct.
mud it all up.
Correct. What do you think these third parties are doing? They know you're naive, so guess what they're doing? They're going in. That's why the IRS, you can only claim 3 years back. The reason why is because anything before 3 years, you have 3 years. Do you remember in the Bible where it says, and Jesus rose after the third day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3 is very significant because before 3 years, whoever owned your property at that moment that you didn't claim and you abandoned, they can now claim.
I'm like, here's a
Do you understand that? That's why when you're going through this process, you can only go 3 years back. Because anybody that's claimed your property prior to that 3 years, they have it. So they collected everything. You abandoned the property, is what they say. Whether it's a court case, whether it's a foreclosure, bankrupt, whatever. You never went back and claimed your money, so the judges claimed it, the courts claimed it, the state claimed it, the government claimed it. But that's what people don't understand. You have to claim everything within 3 years. That's why it says in the Bible on the third day he rose. What they're saying is he awakened to the information and he took back all his claims and property. And your property is you. Your all caps name.
Hey, I'm having difficulties. I don't know why they took away my microphone button, but I have to like go into my panel box to turn my mic on. I just wanted to let you know, Starseed, if you will go into the same settings area where you do the resizing and go all the way to the left, it'll make that screen a little bit bigger.
Okay. So, all right.
No, you can't just do a 1099B on a death certificate. You have to get an eminent domain depending on what party you are. You need to prove to the government that you have sole right as an heir. All right, so you have to do an eminent domain, and then you can go in and claim all the estate. Listen, guys, that is one of the things that I'm just now starting to learn about the death certificate, so I don't have all the answers. I apologize for that. Um, like I said, I come from a very small family. We're very tight, and I just had my first death this year. And I'm going in and trying to claim all the estate for my mom.
And I just,
But
I was
no,
just gonna,
it's not as simple as a 1099B. No, you have to do an eminent domain. You have to prove to the government that you are an heir.
that's what I need to do.
You have to prove to the IRS that you're an offspring or a descendant
How
or
far back can you go?
an heir. I'm sure there is a form for heir, but like I said, I'm still in the process. Like I've never dealt with this before. So it's all new to me. It's something I'm working on myself.
I've got a form I want to show you and ask you what you think. Um,
I'm dealing with the IRS now to try to get answers. Of course, you have to call them 100 million times to get to the right person. So I'm dealing with the process, and I've got 10 years to do it to reclaim everything for my mom. Because I have a different leg to stand on. I mean, I have something up against me too. I was adopted by this person as my father. So, yes, you got 10 years after they pass. You got up to 10 years. After the 10-year, then it goes straight to the government.
Okay, but that's only for next of kin or whatever. Like if you're the next of kin, I guess that's for your mom. That wouldn't work for grandmother or great grandmother.
No, you can do that as well as long as you go up the chain of command. So say for instance, if you claim your mother and you're doing stuff for her, your great grandmother's already died. You then can do an heir, but this is way above me, above my knowledge. And I'm just getting into all this because we can claim up to our grandparents and our great grandparents. There's a way to do it without the 10-year mark.
do you see this form that I have up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what?
it's a fiscal service form. Yeah, I
Did they
see that.
send you that, you said?
No, this one I found online. I was just curious if it would.
What number is it? Because I deal with fiscal services. I know their forms very well. What number is it?
1050, and I haven't seen this one yet either. And I know all the forms.
Yeah, I do too.
This one's pretty cool.
I've got a
But
couple in here. Like,
once you go up to the chain of command and you start taking over the estate of your parents, you can move up to the grandparents and the great grandparents. You can keep going because I'm a descendant of an oil company. And that's how I realized all this. And I'm still working on all my stuff. And I don't know, like, it was a big name, McClure. You remember McClure gas stations in the 1960s?
yeah.
Well, probably most of you aren't old enough to know that because it's much older people, I'm sure. But I'm a descendant of those heirs.
Mm-hmm.
See it there?
I see it.
Laughing and crying at the same time.
That's cute.
Oh, Lordy.
But you can go after your great grandparents, your grandparents. You go after everybody, but you have to work your way up that ladder. It's kind of like that's where I think that they talk about, the stairs to heaven. You got to climb that ladder to take everything back.
What about this form here?
Okay, yeah, that's the
It's the same as the registered securities form.
right. What you're doing if you're under the fiscal services and you're distributing as a fiduciary certain securities to certain people. So you do all this with the IRS or the Treasury. It's all the same forms. It's just, a third party. So it's like pick your poison. Who do you want to deal with? If you have a fiscal service account, you can definitely go through them. When I first did it, they locked my account because I did a couple things incorrect.
Yeah, you can go through your TDA account if you check the hard box when you did the. So did you check the box where it says unlock the
Well,
hard box on the original?
it's fine now, but I realized what I did wrong.
No,
I did it
I was
without.
asking Elena because she has her TDA set up, but I was wondering if she checked that box so it didn't lock. Is it active, Elena?
No. My TDA account? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
Yes. But I haven't, like I said, didn't do a bunch of forms because they scare me. Once you do something wrong on them, you lock up your whole account or you get in trouble and then you can't do anything.
Well, they all they want you to do is correct what is incorrect. They're not. It's nothing bad. It's like the IRS. They're not going to move forward until you correct what you need to correct. The IRS is a little bit more lenient than Treasury Direct, but you got to think of them as they're all third party companies. Okay? And they want your business. They want your money. Because every time you do business through these people, they're getting paid. Okay? So they want your business. They're actually just trying to guide you and go, look, you're on the right path. You just need to correct something. You're missing something. You don't understand something. Go back and look at your shit again, is pretty much what they're saying. They're not there to harm you. So when they lock your account, like I said, my account got locked when I first did Treasury Direct. They're not there to harm you in any way. And they'll send you a piece of paper, like Treasury Direct when you get locked. They'll send you a piece of paper and they go, please send this copy with every correspondence that you send to us. The IRS does the same thing. The reason why is because they're telling you you're over the target. You just need to fix something. Because, like I said many times in these groups, they're not going to let just anybody out of the bag. They're not. They're only going to want to know people. They're only going to want people that have actually, that they know, understand, and have done the legwork. That have not sat back and cookie cut every guru that they hear. So anything that happens with you with the IRS or Treasury Direct or even the Treasury or whoever else you go by, they're guiding you with these certain incidents like that. So a lockout is not a bad thing. They're just telling you you're on the right track. But everybody jumps to the negative instead of the positive. What happened to the comments?
They're there.
Oh,
Here,
I
I
can't see
might
them.
need to change these. I'm going to change the layout.
You might have accidentally slid over to the right. You have to put your thing to the left. Sometimes when you slide your screen to the right, it'll take all those comments off.
Well, I like answering people's questions.
Yeah, if you slide your phone your front of your phone to the left, they'll come back. Sometimes if you accidentally hit your phone, it'll slide them to the right and
Gotcha.
away from there.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will try that. There you go. It worked. Thank you for that knowledge. I'm new to TikTok, so I don't know.
I'd done it a couple of times myself, and I was like, "Where'd they go? Oh my gosh!" And then I accidentally got them back, and so I was like, "Oh crap!" That's what I did.
No, I appreciate that. I just like to answer people's questions when they ask. I'm looking for the gold question.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
What is the best way about going and getting my silver and stuff appraised for the trust?
Okay, what are you going to do? A surety bond?
Yeah, probably.
Because you really don't need to get it appraised for the trust. So, like, are you talking about like old silver?
I want to make it the body of the trust.
Well, like with my trust, because I buy silver, okay? And I buy it to do bonds to back everything like my car insurance and what have you, because it's lawful money. So
Right.
I buy monthly silver, but I buy, silver that's not old or anything or been tampered with. It's silver from a legit company, and it's 99.9999, percent pure. So
I'm
if
talking
you
like
need to get
1980
old
half
silver
gold.
appraised, I'm not sure about that. I don't buy old silver because sometimes it can be real, it cannot. I guess you could go to a coin dealer
Yeah, but they're
and
such a
see,
ripoff.
but it should say it on there.
So, okay, I have an 1882 silver dollar,
Okay.
and I have a lot more, but I'm not gonna go on. Like I've got half
I
dollars of
would
that.
say get the red book. If I was you, I'd probably get the red book, the 2024 red book,
I
and
have the
do your
blue
own
one.
appraisal.
Okay,
The
wait a
red
minute.
book is the most.
Who asked me that question? Because I think you're missing something here. If
Starseed
you
asked.
take
I asked.
silver, if you take silver and you're going to do a bond, a silver bond, for, say, car insurance, $1 million for car insurance, okay? You're just going to write up a bond for how much you say your silver is worth.
Oh.
So
So
she
I
don't
have to.
need an actual number of
Correct.
appraisal.
Yeah, I was missing that.
I was missing that. I was under the
Right.
impression.
And I wasn't sure what you were asking me about,
Well, I
getting
was
silver
wondering how do
appraised. You don't need to appraise it.
I.
It's
Okay, I was
lawful
wondering how
money.
to fund the trust. Like, how do we get from here to there? That's how do I go from? Okay, I have this silver now. I want it to fund me. I want it to pay my
You draw up a
expenses.
silver bond.
Okay. All right, that was the
And so
answer.
you go, I got this much silver. This is what I got. And you draw up how much you want the bond to be.
Okay.
Because, like, you can send in, like, maybe, I don't know, 0.02 ounce of silver into your mortgage company and say, here, that promissory note's a negotiable instrument, so I'm giving you 0.02 ounce of silver to pay off the debt.
Okay.
You put the price. Precious metals, there's no price. You place the price. Only the
Okay.
Federal Reserve puts a price on, money. But you're king or queen, so you name the price of your silver or gold. And you just create the bond because we can't walk around with tons of silver in our pocket. So you create the bond, just like the Federal Reserve sends you out little green notes in place of gold. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. It makes a lot of sense, and yeah, kind of changes the way I'll be moving tomorrow.
And yes, somebody did correct me. It is a silver surety bond.
So okay, it is a 30.
But you name the price. It's usually like when I paid for my condo in Orlando, I paid with 21 silver dollars. I took 21 silver dollar coins and I paid for the house. And 21's kind of the going rate, so you can do a surety bond for 21 silver dollars.
Okay. And it doesn't matter which silver dollars, just 21 silver dollars.
21 silver dollars. Silver dollars. Now, if you got half ounces and stuff like that, that's a different story.
So it would be anything made before 1933, right?
It doesn't, no, it does not have to be. All
Well,
mine is
the reason
recent.
I say that is because they stopped
But
putting.
if you got something before 1933, it should be worth more money.
Okay. I know in 1933 they switched it and they stopped putting 90% silver and stopped making them 90% silver. They went to like 60. And then in the 60s or something it went to 60%. Or
Yeah,
40.
if you got anything before 1933, then you can name your price.
Oh.
I base all mine off of 21 silver dollars. So when I did my 1 million insurance bond through my silver bond, I did it, 21 silver dollars for 1 million. And they have to accept it. They have to accept it as value because the Federal Reserve will pay it because
Say
it's
you
lawful
had
money.
How quickly
1882
can you do
silver
something
dollars.
like that, Sloan?
What was
Pardon
that?
me?
Wait a second.
I said, how quickly can someone do something like that with that, sending that off like that?
What do you mean sending what off? The surety bond?
The
You just type,
$21 surety.
yeah, you just type up the surety bond, you sign it, and you find somebody that will accept it. It can be your bank. Like, my bank will accept it, but it's a credit union. You can go through, like, Fidelity, they'll accept it. Or any other brokerage house will accept it. Because what they're going to do is they're going to monetize it. And they're going to sell it out on the market 10 times the amount of money. So you take 21 silver dollars at, what is silver right now? $25 a pop? So it's actually more than that, to be honest with you, because everything's an illusion, and you did not hear that from me. But so what they're going to do is they're going to take that silver bond, they're going to monetize it, branch it out to 9 other banks, 10 times the amount of money. Then they're going to securitize it, and then you can within a year probably make, you got a bond for $1 million for insurance, you could probably 10 times that, you're probably looking at about 20, 30, who knows, million, just off that one bond. And all you got to do is call back in the bond.
And then you collect all that?
Yeah, when you call in the bond.
What? Okay, so is it the same with savings bonds?
Right. What you want to do is let it sit out there for a while and collect some money for you, and then bring it back. What do you think the billionaires do?
Hold on, I have $100 savings bond from 2008. But like,
Yeah, you
whenever I
got to
look
let
it
it
up online,
mature.
yeah,
You got to let it mature.
when I looked it up
So,
online, it said that it
like
was
your
like
mortgage bond, I'm going to give you guys an idea here. When you bought your home, the extent of your mortgage bond was 90 days. Your mortgage was paid within 90 days off of the bond that you signed. Your house was paid for within 90 days. Mine was, when I bought the condo in Orlando, it was paid off in 60 days. I watched the bond get paid off. And then they securitized it. You let it ride, let them do whatever they want with it, and then you go back in, I don't know, 10 years later, call on the bond. I think I made 30 million off that one bond because they sold it 3 times. But see,
so.
here's what the company doesn't want you to know. They're making the money. They don't want you to know that. They're expecting you to abandon the property. Then when you go call on the bond, guess who has to pay all that money back? All those people that changed hands with that bond.
What would I read to get more knowledge on this?
Banking.
Okay.
There's a book called Banker's Manual. Banker's Manual's Secret. Read that. Somebody just asked, how does the bank know you have a silver to back the bond? If the government decides to call in that bond and you don't have the silver to back it, okay? So here's where the issue lies. Number one, you better have the silver to show the proof. Now, you're not going to show silver for $1 million on 21 silver dollars because it's securitized. So all you have to do is show that 21 silver dollars that you created the bond with. Because then the bond was securitized, which made $1 million, which probably made another $1 million, which probably made another $1 million. So all you have to do, so if you create a silver surety bond, do it for 21 silver dollars. Make sure you have 21 silver dollars in case they ask. And like the lady was talking, yeah, top secret baker's manual. Thank you. So if like the lady was saying she had stuff, silver dollars from before 1933, I would definitely look into getting that appraised because she could be sitting on more money. Now I have like if you have a 10-ounce silver bar, you could turn that into a bond. Say I have a 10-ounce silver bar. Turn that into a silver surety bond.
I have the little break off pieces of silver too, for like carrying around doing commerce.
You always carry a silver dollar in your pocket in case you end up in court or something. You can hand it to a judge and go, "Here's my payment," and they have to accept it.
So I think
one.
Doug in the comments was asking you, Sloan, can you use silver certificates?
I'm sure. Don't those come from the bank?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the stock market?
I think they're talking about the dollar bills.
Silver certificates, absolutely, yeah. You can get so you can turn your silver like in a bond and ask for silver certificates. Yes, you can. Not sure really why you'd want to do that, but you can.
Less weight.
Yeah, but most people don't handle money that way, unfortunately. So, like, if you do your silver surety bond, like what I did with my insurance, I did it through the bank, and I have checks through my bank. So if I get in a car accident, I just go, "How much is your damage, sir?" He goes, "It's 10,000." I write him a check for 10,000, and I be about my way.
You're talking about
No
that comes out of
cops.
what account to cover that?
You do it through your own personal bank account.
Okay, so but you have to pick the right bank that's going to be able to do this type of thing for you, right?
Right. You have to have a bank that will accept those, but it's got to be through trust.
From what I'm reading, the trust is who everybody needs one. That's where all of your safety is.
Right, because then you're not held liable. If you have a trust, you're not held liable for nothing. So when they pull you in for court, they can't. They can't pull you into court. They can't arrest you. They can't do nothing. They can't do anything to you. They can't charge you. They can't fine you. The utility company can't charge you. The electric company can't charge you.
And
Because everything's in a trust now.
Oh shit! Like what law would I? A trust law, I guess. I just need to read up on that.
I can't hear you, honey.
Oh, I said, and what would I need to read up on? I said, well, trust law. That's what I need to read.
Right, trust law. Yes. And there's a good book for that. I'd have to look it up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my microphone's being so weird. All right, so with the trust, I've heard people say express the trust, and I always thought that was implying that like there's a trust already set up that we can use. You're talking about setting up a totally different trust, but out of my curiosity,
Right,
I'm
don't.
wondering, is there
No,
already
people, all these gurus are really like, I don't know what they're doing. An express trust. Yeah, that's not. I don't even know where that logic came from, to be honest with you. So what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to move your all caps name and put it in this trust so that your all caps name could no longer be touchable. And that's the reason for the trust. So you're moving everything into the private now, including your all caps name. That means the electric company, the utility company, any corporation, any court, they cannot touch you. Because now your all caps name is owned by a trust, which is not you. You just separated the private and the public.
Quick question. Would it be a more simple process or approach to have everything set up in a trust that's like for a business and have the bills going through a business account versus doing all this with your name being put into the trust?
I honestly, that was the hard way, and that was the actual way that I actually took. And I later learned I didn't actually have to do it that way. I actually went through the LLC and all that, and I realized that was not what I actually needed to do. So I took the hard road in doing my process, but it was trial and error. Now that I know what I know, people have an easier way to do things. And all you got to do is set up that trust with your bank separate, and all you do is put your all caps name in that trust. I went through the LLC. I did it the hard way. But back then I was throwing crap at a wall and seeing what stuck. And now that I know what I know, I can help people, life get easier quicker than what I had to go through. So set up the EIN. That's easy to get with the IRS. I got the phone number for it, everything. Just get it and then write out your trust. Who's your beneficiaries? You're going to name yourself as the grantor and the trustee, and you're going to put your all caps name in that trust. You're going to get it notarized. That's all you need to do. You're going to go to your bank. You're going to turn your bank account in over into that trust. You're done. Now you are out of the system.
Hey, Corey in the chat. I don't know how to say your name, Shakori or something. As far as a business and being taxes, it depends on how you set up the corporation, what type, and whether you'll have tax obligations or not.
Lisa, can you repeat that? I don't know where you found it earlier.
JC, I have a question for you. When you're saying to write out your trust and get your bank account and put that into the trust, are you talking about your private bank EIN?
No, this has nothing to do with the private banker's EIN. That is something that is separate. Private banker's EIN, if you want to get that, I do have that as well. It's a transmitting utility, and you can use that as well. But I'm just trying to help people that are at the beginning stages to get there faster.
I completely understand. I completely understand, and I so get it, especially because things with like the UCC filing, like what exactly do I need to do to file the UCC-1 or to get this moved forward so I can be out of the system?
Okay, all right. This is a good question that your question, a lot of people don't ask, and it's a very good question. I'm going to tell you how I did it. All right.
Thank you.
The UCC-1 is a double-edged sword because number one, it keeps you in the system, but if you know what you're actually doing, you can be out of the system. So here's what I'm going to tell you how I did mine. UCC-1 was on my all caps name only. So I took over the vessel as a secure party creditor, okay? That was it. Then, once I had the trust, I filed a non-UCC one in the private that nobody has access to, but I did it registered mail for myself and if shit hits the fan. So I backed myself on the private side with a non-UCC one. And on the public side, as far as my LLC, I did a UCC one, claiming all my property on that end. So on my non-UCC, I did it through my banker's EIN, claiming everything. And on the UCC one, on my LLC, I claimed all rights to anything that the debtor buys or encompass under my birth certificate. And I put it under, what did I put under? I put it under something. I gotta look it up. It wasn't the Foreign Grantors Trust, but I put it under the LLC, but that's the public. So I literally went above and beyond with separating the private and the public. So I did extremes of two sides when I did my remedies.
I would really like to talk to you at some point in time with my fiance, because we are at that stage. We have so much that we've gotten the private banker EIN, the estate EIN, the foreign grantor trust EIN, but we are at that point, and we have come to such a place where we are beating our head against a wall to get that and to not screw ourselves up.
Well, I just told you. I just gave you like huge golden nuggets there.
I know, I do, but I'd still like to talk to you with her at some point in time.
The
She's
thing
at work.
is when I come on these lives, after a live, I get hundreds of like texts from people. I don't have time to keep up with it, so I have people just ask questions when I'm on the live. I just gave you huge nuggets there. What I said was,
I know
what you need to do, because you've got the UCC set up. You need to set it up as the vessel. You're the secure party. You're going to be the fiduciary, which is your lowercase name. That lowercase name will also come in and become the trustee on your trust. Okay? So then what you're going to do is back it up with a non-UCC, taking that part out of the system. That way you're double secure, you're double protected. So, because here's the problem with UCC ones. You're in the public on a UCC one, no matter what. What you're saying is you're going to abide by their rules under their conditions at all times, even as the secure party creditor. That's fine and dandy if you want to put liens on people, put liens on yourself, do an ag lien on yourself. I did all that. But I still didn't feel comfortable with having myself out there because I'm still in their system. So the next step I took, and this is a Patrick Devine step, and I learned it from him, I ended up doing a non-UCC on my private, which was my trust. And I did it through the banker's EIN. Now you can do it through the trust EIN. Don't go as far as I did, because I went above and beyond. So all you need to do is a non-UCC filing. On top of the UCC filing, you're going to put it under your trust if you only have a trust EIN. And you're going to claim all rights into that trust. With that non-UCC, you're not going to send it to anybody. You're not going to file it. You're going to register, mail it to yourself. That's for your eyes only. So if somebody calls you into court and says, I'm foreclosing on your home, you're going to walk in with that piece of paper, that registered piece of mail, and you're going to go, oh, really? That property's in a trust. You have no rights over that property. Then you can charge them money. I have a company now who's trying to foreclose on a home. I walked a family member through all this. She's looking at $400,000. $400,000 on a $100,000 home. Because of a non-UCC. You just have to be smarter than them. You have to play their game against them, because what they're doing is they're looking for taxes. And guess what the IRS is going to do when I walk into that court and say, listen, she has a $400,000 lien on this property because it's non-UCC, but this company has a $100,000 lien on her property. IRS, what's going to make you the most amount of money? The IRS is going to side with the $400,000 and the owner, because everything comes down to taxes. I hate it when you guys get quiet.
I had my mic muted so I didn't make any noise while you were talking.
The IRS is your friend, and they want whoever's going to pay them the most amount of money. Guess why they always come after you? Number one, you're naive. Number two, you don't know the system. And number three, you don't play the game. So they're always going to side with the people that bring them the money. Now that you know how to play their game against them, guess who's going to bring the IRS the most amount of money? You are. And it's not going to cost you a dime out of your pocket.
Yeah, and I've learned I was very good whenever you're doing any of those forms to put in your letter of intentions and your disclaimers that you're new, or that you can make any changes if necessary.
Revocable. You want to do a revocable trust? Somebody asked. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I know, believe me, you're fine.
Listen, these third parties just want to get paid, but the most important thing is you separate yourself from the system. And you got to realize you're going to work on the UCC side, which is their codes, rules, regulations, policies, but you're going to do it with the all caps name as a vessel, you as a secure party creditor, and then you're going to separate, divide a line right down the middle with trust and a non-UCC, putting them on notice. It's deadly. It's deadly. That you will become unstoppable. And there ain't shit they can do about it. Because now you're no longer playing their game, they're playing your game. That's a checkmate. A non-UCC under the trust, either a trust EIN or a banker's EIN, or for a grantor's trust EIN, that's checkmate. If you guys want to do rent, then I would just claim it for the year ahead of time. As long as you have your trust, you can file a 1099-B and do the whole year. So if your rent is, say, $1,200 times 12, and you're going to fill out a 1099-B. Barter the amount on the trust and get yourself paid back.
So that's how you do it ahead of time. Because I know that they have like all of the
Well, you
allowances.
can do it through an ES. Like, say for instance, the IRS form ES.
Okay.
You could take money out prior with the ES form and IRS ES form. So just figure out your rent for 12 months and then do it quarterly. So your rent's $1,200 a month. So you do it for 3 months and then you write the date and just do it quarterly on an ES form and pay yourself ahead of time for that month, and then that money sits
On an
in a
ES
non
form and pay yourself.
in a non-interest bearing account so that it gets paid out each month.
Oh.
What are we talking about?
How do you claim your mortgage payments back? Well, that I would do the 1099-B. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the year, or however you can only go back 3 years. Wait a minute, I'm getting feedback. Hold on. So what you're going to do is you fill out the 1099-B, you put your year, 2 years, 3 years, however many years you're trying to claim. And then you're going to times it by 10 because that's how much extra money they made on the account. You're just going to estimate. The IRS will fix the number if you're incorrect. And that goes back to the company to pay the taxes. Because all you're doing is paying taxes. You're paying taxes for everybody else to use your money. Stop doing that. No, it's not paying yourself the $250 a year. You can do it through the ES if you want to pay rent that way, because you're going to log it in your logbook as rent, not paying yourself. Or you can do a miscellaneous, 1099 miscellaneous. See, you need to learn the IRS forms. There's many outlets here, guys. There's always 10 million ways to skin a cat.
Do you happen to utilize the postal service to like do your notifications of your trust yearly and stuff?
I didn't understand the question. Say that again, or I didn't hear.
Hold on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you happen to utilize the postal services for like your notifications to the different places yearly of your trust?
Well, when you sign up with the Postal Service, it's a trust in itself.
Right,
And
right,
the
right. I
Postal
know
Service
that.
is a bank.
Well, I'm just trying to understand, whatever we're going to call it, the statement of ownership. Because I feel like that is, you're taking statement ownership of your trust, of your all caps trust and all of that within it. So I was wondering if, like, whenever you're doing your publications, if you're like doing your notifications of your fee schedule and everything else, like whenever you're doing within that periodical certification.
I still didn't understand the question, but with the Postal Service, you are kind of like protecting yourself that way. with the trust, with the notifications. It's like what's the best word I'm looking for?
I guess I was asking,
Because
do you use the
you
periodicals
realize
for
when
that?
you mail out letters, if you say for instance you have a deadline and you send it out that day and it's postmarked that day, do you understand the legality, like the how important that is in the system?
Mm-hmm.
How much power that has. And if somebody does not respond in a time and date that you specify, how much power that has. So the post office is by far the most powerful people that we have to back us up, as long as you send it certified or registered.
So I guess my question was, do you utilize the periodicals for that?
What do you mean?
Like, because I know you have to send out periodicals every so often if you're doing that, and I feel like it has something to do with the trust stuff, and I'm just trying to figure it out, like that part out, periodicals.
I do not know. I don't have an answer for you.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll send it to you. Well, I can't send it on TikTok.
Yeah, let me read it. I'll send you my email address.
Okay, yeah, then I can send you the whole packet here, the forms.
Right.
Because this is
I'd be interested in reading what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
It's called a Statement of Ownership, Management, and Circulation. All periodical publications except requester publications.
Why are they sending you that though?
It was on the top of, like, whenever I got a Postal One account, it was at the very top, like, with red, because you have to have it done before August 1st.
I didn't get
October
that.
1st. October 1st.
I wonder if they're testing you.
Could be. I don't know.
That's interesting. Let me read it though.
Yeah, it's form, actually, if you want, it's Form 3526. PS Form 3526. Yeah, I mean, it asks you, like, for your name and your address, and then it asks you, like, the title of your publication, but then it goes into more deep shit that I'm like, okay, well, why would they need to know this for a periodical?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking these questions. I'm like, I never received that. I'm trying to figure out.
It's had me scratching at my head since I saw it, so I'm like, I don't know. Then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, is your publication like your family Bible or something? Like I mean, basically your trust?
That's why you asked me that. I couldn't figure out, like, why is she asking me that?
Because I couldn't figure out the publication. Like, what else are you going to publish? I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, but even if they wanted her certificate ownership, she don't need to give up all that information because she's supposed to be in the private. That's why we use the postmaster, to keep us in the private.
Yeah, that's why
No,
I've been so stumped lately, because I just don't understand the periodicals, and I'm like, okay, it has to do something.
Let me read it. I'm not sure what they were sending you.
Somebody said, do we need to do a POA with 2848 first to take control of your all caps name before 1099s?
I saw that. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. I would just send it in with the 1099s. I send all that stuff anytime I send anything. That way there's no question. I'm one of those people, I oversend. So whenever I send the IRS stuff, they finally wrote me and said, you know what, you don't need to send all this stuff. I said, thank God.
Yeah.
I did overkill.
I think
I did overkill because I wanted to get my point across.
I think what I'm gonna have to do is actually go to the post office, or the one
No,
that
I
actually
think
says post office.
the postmaster.
Right. That we've got one in our area. It's the post office that doesn't have carriers.
Right.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out why they wanted all that information from you when you're in the private. Guess
Right.
what keeps you in the private? The postmaster.
And maybe they are testing me, but I haven't done it, so.
That's what I'm thinking. They're testing you. They're testing you to see how you'll react.
Who sent you the document, Elena?
Well, it's on the USPS gateway because I'm on the postal one. Hold on, I'll screenshot it and show you guys what I'm talking about.
But did they specifically send it to you, or did you just find it on your own? That would be
Hold
a
on.
big difference.
It's at the top of the screen with like red, like a notification that it needs to be done.
Okay, yeah, they're just testing you then. Anything in red, the IRS does same shit. The IRS does same stuff. They post things in red at the top. Courts do that as well, just to test you.
Gotcha.
So you don't respond when it's red? Is that?
Probably not unless they like specifically tell you to, and that's what they didn't do is specifically tell me to do that.
A couple of people in the chat said that they got the same notification or same thing on theirs.
That's how they separate people. The people that know, the people don't know. It's fear. So what, like the court systems, they all do it. So it's a fear tactic because your whole life's based on fear, right? They got you fearing taxes. They got you fearing bills. They got you fearing all this stuff, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing is they're testing the situation. I see this stuff on like all kinds of like government websites with the red. So what they're doing, it's to weed out the people that really don't know what they're doing. So be careful with that.
That's why I haven't touched it yet.
Hey, Sloan, I just came on. I'm sorry if I did. You guys were talking about the ES. Did you go over the ESV and if that process is logical or even wise to do, or is it something people are doing it for like? I heard you say 250K. It just doesn't seem. Is that something that you think is going to work? Just wanted your opinion, if possible.
Well, it does work. I didn't do mine for 250K. I did it for more, but it is one way to get paid on the trust because you are allowed to pay yourself. You are working a business, right? You're the trustee of a trust. So you should be compensated, correct? So yes, it does work. It is a process that you can utilize for yourself to get paid.
But a lot of people are doing it just the 1040 without the trust.
Oh, they're doing it off the Social Security?
Yeah, just 1040, 1040 ES, 1040X, 1040V, and then a 1040X if they have to do an amendment, or just a 1040. So they're doing the ESV and then the 1040 or the 1040X, just off their social without sending any non-decedent, any 2848, just straight.
I don't see why it wouldn't work. Why would you send in a 1099 miscellaneous on all the, the whole year of you eating out at restaurants? You get paid for it, right? Why wouldn't you pay yourself through your Social Security? I believe that would work too. So I'm sure it works. I do it through the trust. It works. So I'm sure the Social Security, the 1040, would work as well. It's the same concept.
Is it a 1041 through the trust?
The 1041 is the trust. So what you need to do is whenever you set up your EINs, you need to read those 575 paperwork that you get. They'll tell you what to file. So with the trust, you have to file 1041s. So that's where I go in and I file the 1041V, the 2041, as well as the 1041 ES, 1041, any other forms. It's all done through the trust. The LLC is the same way.
Do you think you can do the Bs then without the trust, or do you think it's better to do with the trust? It's just...
I think it's better to do with the trust. Absolutely, you can do it without the trust, as long as you do it under the Social Security number, as long as you're the payer.
So the Social Security number is you, and the estate is the all caps. Is that correct? Is that how you look at it?
No. The Social Security is the all caps. The estate is the grantor, which is technically the all caps, but you're the trustee acting as a living person.
So how would you say it just with the 1040 way, like when it's just you and then your all caps name? How do you designate?
What you're going to do is you're going to put the all caps name as the payer. And if you have an LLC, put the LLC as a payer.
So that's it. That you're the all caps the entire time when you're doing it with your social, the 1040 way.
Correct, because that's who the social is.
Okay, but you're not the difference of because that's why I get so confused of you and then the straw man.
Right.
It's very confusing.
Right. The Social Security is the straw man. The trust is what separates the straw man from the live person. That's when you can start signing yourself as lowercase name.
And becoming real, not real. Okay, got it.
Correct.
Thank you.
No, 1041, you do got to file a 1041 for business LLC. (1040) is individuals, but it's also the all caps name. It's the Social Security. What's on your Social Security card? That's all you need to look at. Whatever is on your IRS form, your 575, whether it's A, B, C, D, G, doesn't matter. You write exactly what hat you're wearing. You utilize whatever's on your IRS form. You better know them by heart.
Salon, I have a question. I went to a brokerage company, researched the BC number, found out that I had over like 80 bonds under behind that BC. I cross-referenced every single bond and found the CUSIF numbers. Now that I have the CUSIF numbers behind those bonds, what form from the RS do I fill out?
1099B. You fill out
And
the
what other forms go
1099B,
with that?
putting
Just the
yourself as a
1099?
payer. Yep, 1099B, put yourself as a payer. Okay? The lender, payer, whatever the top box is. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put whatever company owns that bond, and then you're going to utilize that CUSIP number. Then you're going to put in proceeds, the amount. If you don't know the amount, you're going to guess the amount. It's not a good idea to do that. But if you know the exact amount, you're going to put that in proceeds. You're not going to fill out any other box. You're going to hit correct box at the top. Then you're going to go down to 13 box, which is barter. And then you're going to times that amount of proceeds by 10.
Okay, now is it best for me to wait till the maturity date gets closer to the maturity date to do that, or just
No,
go
absolutely.
ahead?
No, because the IRS is already going to know, because they're already going to have that maturity date. The IRS is going to go in because IRS wants to get paid. They know they're getting paid if you got a lot of money sitting in there.
Yes, because I've seen some of them like underneath my last name. There were bonds underneath my last name. I've seen some of them over 5 million. Now I understand that underneath every single bond, all of that doesn't belong to me, or does it?
It all belongs to you.
Wow. Okay, thank you so very much.
And if you don't know your CUSIP number and you're filling out the 1099B or A, just put in your social. That's your CUSIP. But you always want to barter 10 times the amount of money, because the IRS, if you're off, they will come back and correct the amount of money that you're actually owed. You don't have to be perfect in this world, I promise.
JC, if someone has a lien on their house from the county for state taxes, what can they do?
Are you still in the home?
She is, yes.
Well, just fill out the
They want to
1099B
sell the
on the
house.
company.
They want to sell the house within 2 months. Put the lien on it.
Do you own the house?
Her daughters do.
I need direct questions here to answer this correctly. Who owns the house?
A friend of mine's daughters owns the house, but she lives in it and paid for it. But it's in their name.
And what are they wanting to do?
They put a lien on the house the county did for state taxes that are owed.
Well, honestly, if I was her, I'd go down and discharge the taxes on the house. Then the lady who's living in it owns the house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then she can get all her
You
credits
know how to
back
do
from
that? You know
paying.
how to do that? You know how to sign off and discharge?
Mm-mm. No, I don't.
Somebody asked you a question in the comments, Sloan.
She needs to find out how much the taxes are on the house and then discharge it.
Okay. Thank you. I'll let her know.
So how do you discharge the taxes on the homes loan when you find out how much they are?
Well, first you find out how much the taxes are, and then you get with the county, and then you have them bring up the paperwork, turn it over, and discharge it. You ever walk into a courtroom and a judge always turns over your court paperwork and looks at the back? Why do you think he looks at the back? And
Is
this
that
is
why
where
they
I
say
had to be
stamp it?
quiet about what I say.
Is that why they put the stamp on the back?
You're writing something on the back. And no matter who you're writing it to, you're going to write it to them. To the clerk of court, to the state of Florida. I got to be careful about what I say here. You're going to discharge it. By who's by?
Your social security number?
No. Who's by? Who are you?
The name?
Strong.
Yeah, somebody
The
just said
state?
it in the bottom, and I'm going to leave it there.
Oh
That's
my
right.
God.
I got you. I got you.
I can't say it out loud because I don't want to hurt Starseed's little life here.
Wait, is that? Never mind.
Yeah, people are starting to come up with it. Just write it, let it go.
That's right.
Heard.
It is a special endorsement. That's all you're going to do to get rid of all that. That's all you have to do. If you get arrested and you're in jail and they bring you up in court, that's all you need to do on the back of the paperwork is write that, and the court has to let you go immediately. If you owe taxes on something, you sign that. They have to let you go immediately. If you owe the IRS taxes, you write that on the tax form on the back, the coupon they send you, the taxes are paid. This is a problem people don't understand. Your signature is gold.
Yeah, but they still keep sending the presentments.
Yeah, they could do that all day, every day,
Yep.
anytime they want. They could keep doing it, but they know. And once they know that you know, it's over. Game over. Game over for them.
Yeah, but you know what? at what point, like, it's a joke, like,
That's why you do the trust.
yeah,
For
of
that
course.
leverage. Yes. That's where, because people are doing all these remedies that we were just speaking about, but they're not getting anywhere. They keep getting knocked down. That's where the trust comes in, and it acts as a leverage against these people to go, hey, I really know what I'm doing here, so fuck off. You know what I'm saying? I don't, pardon my French, but that's pretty much it.
Yep.
It's kind of a slap in the face to them. Let's put it that way. Because they expect people to sign and go, when you do a pay to the order up on a chargeback, they have to accept it. Now, if they're really greedy, they're going to fight you on it. And that's where the trust comes in, and you go, oh no, because I'm just going to go back and claim everything that you just wronged me on. And you're looking at millions of dollars.
That's right.
Because they're wrong.
That's right. You're right. They respect the trust.
Someone had asked how you would transfer your credits. They said they had like $2 billion or something. How do you transfer those credits to your bank account or wherever else? I'm going to put that in the chat.
What credits are you talking about?
She said she had $2 billion in credits. I don't know, maybe from the bees.
I think from the IRS.
Or IRS, yes. Probably.
Well, you got to put it on, if it's a 1040, if you're doing it off the Social Security, you're going to do it through a 1040. If it's the trust, then you're going to do a 1041. So I think it's line, you guys are going to make me pull up the computer. I think it's the second page. There's a line. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill out how much you want out of that money. Like when I first did mine, I asked for 20 grand straight up front. Everybody I've ever talked to asked for a little bit of money. Like,
right.
You guys, what the fuck's wrong with you? But, it is what it is. But you're going to ask for that money. You're going to put that money in a certain line, and then you're going to move the rest of the credits over to the next year. And here's why people do that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the banks cannot secure any amount of money over $250,000. And that's why all these gurus are telling you to do $250,000. Now me, I did my shit different. I'm like, fuck all this. I'm going for whatever I want to go with. And I went bigger or didn't come at all. And I got what I wanted, but the bank doesn't assure it. So I have to spread my money out between 10 different accounts just to make sure that it's protected by the FDIC.
Now, is that where
and then even half of it isn't protected.
Is that where the EPS would come in handy, where you would have X, Y, and Z accounts?
Correct. The UPS, yep.
Because you can have, as many accounts as you want.
Right. But there is one account that you can ask for that's backed by the Treasury, which is what I did on 2 of my accounts, which is unlimited. And that's a direct express account. And it's by the Treasury Bank. Yep. That's where my business, my LLC, is through.
Treasury Direct.
With my 999,999,999,999.
I love it.
Can I borrow 100?
It is fierce.
Well, who has an LLC?
Me.
Go get your LLC 575 paperwork right now. What is it, a G?
Sure.
Go get it right now, because I want everybody to hear this on the live. Because they're going to shut me down after this. I know they will.
No, they're not. Don't say that.
Okay, pray with me. Pray with me. They're not. They're not.
I am. They're not. They're not.
Get
They're
your
not.
paperwork because I'm going to say this live. I'm going to say this live.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, you got your paperwork in front of you?
I got my paperwork in front.
What's it say? CP 575
A.
A. What's the number after that or before it?
I got SS4. I don't.
No. You didn't actually get the paper, the EIN
no. Okay, I see what
paperwork?
you're talking about. I see.
Okay, what's it say?
999999999. Lots of nines.
That's how much money you have to claim. And I claim that.
And what do I do to do that?
You claim it, and I did mine through Direct Express.
Okay. So you just
you see that little the second page.
Mm-hmm.
You see where it says tear off here to send in if you change your address.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a check
Mm-hmm.
for that 999999999. And that's all I'm going to say.
Heard. Yeah.
They have them on the trust ones too.
Yes, it does.
Yes, you do. The trust was the first one I claimed.
Now,
but the trust goes to my kids. The LLC goes to me.
Is there a particular way to do that besides just, making it into that special little document? Are there other special documents that go with it?
You ever write a check?
Yeah. Yes. I know what you're going to say next, but I'm just saying, is there anything that goes with that besides the V?
Just the B. That and the B.
And the B.
And you gotta send it to Ogden, Utah.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all you had to say. Thank you.
Make sure you sign the back.
Crazy.
So did it take you like months and months? I've just seen people that did their B's several months ago and still haven't received any credits or anything. Do you think they're just behind, or is that normal?
It takes 21 days. It takes 21 days to receive the B's to get approved. Now, you're not going to get a check off the B's. You have to go back in and claim it with a 1040 or a 1041, depending. 1040 is for Social Security. 1041 is for trust. So, no matter what, either or, it doesn't matter. Once your B's are approved by the IRS, which you're going to go in and you're going to file your 1040 or 1041. If you already filed your 1040 or 1041 for the year, you're going to have to file a 1040X or a 1041X and send it to Missouri. Missouri is the one that handles the X form. So make sure that you have the correct. Here's where people run into problems. They send IRS, when you're dealing with the IRS, which is third party, and they're there to work for you, and they want to get paid because they're going to get paid big when you come in there because you're king or queen. Okay? Mm-hmm. You're coming in there with a lot of fucking money, as we just learned. You're coming in with 999 billion, 999. Okay? You're coming in with all that money. They're going to make a percentage off of that money when you come in and go, ooh, I claim that. They're happy. They love what you're doing. Okay? So, what you need to do is make sure that you file the right forms at the right place at the right time. Now, while we're all learning, they understand that you don't get everything exact. So if you already filed a 1040 or a 1041, You can file a 1040X or a 1041X, but you're going to have to send it to Missouri. Make sure you get the correct IRS places for the right time of what you're doing. It's very important because, like, I deal with so many states with different IRS places. It's unreal, and it took me a long time to learn all of them, but it's like a system now. The ESs go to Kentucky. I deal with Texas. I deal with North Carolina. Ogden gets all my big shit. If I'm doing receipts, that's Ogden. If I'm dealing with more complex things, that's Missouri. It doesn't matter where you're from. The forms will tell you where to file, but when you're dealing with certain situations, you have to make a valid and intellect decision where to send the file. So if you're sending an ES and a B, say you're doing a 1040 ES and a 1040B, guess what? Both those forms tell you to send it somewhere different. What are you going to do?
Send them somewhere different?
No, you're
Okay.
not.
Okay.
This is where your mind has to think outside the box. And this is where they separate the smart from the idiots.
I guess I'm an
Yes,
idiot.
you would send it to Kentucky. Yes, sir. Yeah, somebody got it right. Here. Oh, this person. Thank you for saying that. Oh, breath of life. Dorothy clicked her heels to go home to Kansas. I did an episode, a video on Wizard of Oz that tells everything that we need to know about the IRS, the Bible, and all our truth today. I'm telling you, if you guys want your all your benefits, all your money from everybody, you need to look at Kansas, Missouri. That's where your gold is. And I'm going to leave it at that.
That was a big nugget right there.
That was a huge nugget. That was a huge nugget.
Yep.
You want the gold? Yep. And most people don't recognize that. And the Wizard of Oz told you itself in that movie.
Dorothy clicked her heels and went to Kansas.
And a way, everybody thinks Kansas is somewhere else, but it was Missouri. That's where the tornado was. Kansas City is where you get the gold. And that's why the gold road, or the yellow brick road, led to Kansas. Kansas, Missouri. That's where I found my gold. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I got my unlimited in Missouri, Kansas. Amen. Thank you, God.
Hey.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm glad I didn't send mine in yet.
Do you think it's best, Sloan, to use the LLC for yourself when dealing in the public Like, rather than just your personal self without.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Always. Always. That's how you keep yourself out of the public. You're always going to use your LLC. So when you sign contracts, say you want to go buy a car and you have your all caps name in an LLC with your state, you're going to sign for that car as the all caps LLC, and you're going to write pay to the order of da 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 by da 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 by da 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 without recourse. I didn't say that.
Da, 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 da,
And then
da.
they can't come back with you. They can't come back on you because it's paid for the minute you buy it, because your trust paid for it, that social security that you have,
Did you put your?
which you don't own. So everything that I'm talking about tonight with the 1040, 1041, the ESs, the vouchers, 1099B, that actually has nothing to do with your social security, really.
You just mentioned you put the all caps into the LLC, because I thought you put the all caps into the trust.
Okay, you're not understanding. So what you do with the state is you state your all caps name as a LLC, so that it is a corporation, which the social everybody already treats as, but you're taking ownership of it. So now you're over the all caps name, because now you made it a corporation against what you took over, what they already created. You then take the LLC and you move it into the trust. Now the trust owns the company. Do you get that?
Yes, thank you. I was always confused. Thank you very much.
So set it up with your state, take over, put your all caps name as LLC, so that you can conduct business in the public as the LLC, which removes you from liability.
Oh.
Now, what you're also going to do is you're going to put the LLC in a trust, which double protects you from liability.
Mm. Now, when you say put in a trust, how exactly do you do that? Just write it in your indenture?
Yes, you just, like in my trust, it says, all right, this trust owns all caps name, and I put out many different versions of my name, and I said any derivative
Derivatives.
of
Yes.
plus the business blah 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 all caps name LLC. That's all you do. That's all you do. Paper, paper and ink is gold.
Mm-mm. And signature.
Anything you write on paper is gold. When you sign your signature, gold. When you fill out that trust document, everything written in it, gold. It's by your standard, by your rules, under your regulation. And it becomes the law.
So your living self is basically just
She hasn't proven anything to me in 10 years.
What? Who is that? Right.
So your living person would be the trustee or the banker who's identified by whatever EIN hat you're wearing, correct? Like the you, not the all caps. That would be like you function as a trustee or a banker. Is that, am I correct with that?
I think she had to quiet somebody down in the background. Hey, Star, how you feeling?
I'm doing a little bit better. I feel this stuff is just so thick. It like makes you not be able to breathe.
What stuff?
Oh my! I've got some congestion going on, and I've been not feeling good for a couple of days now.
Do you have a dehumidifier in your room?
No, I have a humidifier.
Oh.
I was going to ask you if you were sick. I thought you sounded a little stuffy.
Yeah, I have been for like almost a week now. My daughter hasn't went to school all week. Ugh.
Have a lot of soup and teas. And drain it out.
My grandma or my great grandma, she told me to either put like onions, fry up some onions and put them on the bottoms of my feet before I go to bed.
Or raw onions. You can set them at the bedside too. Put them in the room by your bed or in your kid's bed, and that'll pull the infection out of the air.
Or she also said to take some whiskey, some peppermint candy, and honey, and boil it, or like mix it all up and drink that. And she said that I would feel fine tomorrow.
Hot toddy. Make yourself a hot toddy.
Sir, wait. Your grandmother was a clerk. Your father was a post office, right?
Well, yeah, different families, but yes.
It's interesting.
My grandma also worked for the. I didn't know this, but before she worked for the judge as a secretary, she was a like the secretary for the chief fireman or whatever. And they're pretty high up in the grand scheme of things, the fire department. So I'm like, dang, why didn't she tell me nothing?
Right? Wow. And she never threw hints or anything? Not a little bit of looking back?
No, and like the crazy thing is I found a letter, which this kind of goes off of what Sloan was saying a little bit ago about the silver, giving it to the magistrate. I found a coin in her stuff with a letter that said your get out of jail free card, and then it said, "P.S. Quit talking so much."
Did you say also there was something about a prayer in her manual or something?
Well, in the secretary dictionary that I found in her stuff, it says like almost the bottom line. It says add your prayer, which basically that is like what's your intent? What do you want to come of all of it? Like that's your prayer. What are you hoping to have happen?
Oh, what's your why? I like it. Something to focus on.
Prayer for relief. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know about the fire, but is Sloan's hand waving, or is it just that I'm seeing because I need glasses? Is her hand moving and waving? Okay.
I thought I saw my name on the little piece of paper. I mean, it's fine. Anyway, but I wish.
Go ahead. I was going to say, oregano is good for being sick, but I didn't realize oregano oil is excellent.
Y'all know what else my grandma told me? This was my great grandma. She said that anytime you get a toothache, and I can attest that this works, she said use a tea bag and it'll pull the infection out.
All I know is I need money for a dentist. That's what I know.
I can't afford the dentist that I need.
Right.
Girl, I need freaking root canal.
Well, I had a car accident when I was 17 and I knocked my front 3 teeth out and the bone that went with them.
Ouch.
And I had a bone graft done when I was young, like in the hospital, but it didn't take. So in order for me to actually get like good teeth, it would take a lot of steps and a lot more money.
No kidding.
Sucks.
A 90% silver dollar is a real silver dollar. That's the most you're gonna find is 90%.
Mm-hmm. But you can also use real silver. That's 999 fine. It doesn't have to be a silver dollar.
Or you can melt your own and make it your own kind of coin.
Does
That's
that dollar, does that dollar with the blue circle, does it have to be a certain year, or can it be any? Can it be from
Any that say silver certificate, or silver certificate or whatever on them, and they say payable upon demand to the bearer.
Okay.
Y'all, let's tap the screen a little bit.
Look at all the remedies.
Let's tap the screen.
All the remedies in the comments.
I know, it's amazing.
I love it.
I'm sitting here looking at it now. You said coconut oil and powdered cloves and rub on a toothache? Make a paste. You can also, you got honey and cinnamon. You can make a paste with that and take it to help your body fight this bug off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honey and paste and honey and cinnamon, and just make a paste, and man, you're gonna feel energized.
I'm gonna take some She Legit tonight because I know that the number one thing that's like winning, or not winning, but performing the best right now for this 19 shit is basically a monatomic gold, because it acts as a binder pretty much and pulls the infection out.
Yep, I take colloidal silver every day. Yep.
Yes.
We gotta do, our bodies will fight it off, but we just gotta do a little bit to help it fight off. We don't need all that medicine and stuff they take. Our natural herbs will help us. And that honey and cinnamon, don't knock it till you try it now.
Do y'all know that honey does not expire? They found 3,000-year-old honey in a mummy's a sarcophagus, and it was not bad. It was still good.
Wow.
It's got to be capped with beeswax.
Did you know, Alana, because you have so many different facts that you find. Did you know a book with every, different lines about everything?
What was that?
You need to write a Did You Know book.
I know. My husband says if I had a pull string. If I had a pull string, that's what I would say. Did you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even help it. It just comes right out. But it's such
all that useless knowledge is really useful,
Right. Because you need to know that turtles have their bladders on their head.
You guys think it's important, all this talk about people with their birth certificates and getting them cert? I think that's not relevant, really. Is that important? Does anyone have any feedback on that? Everyone's always talking about getting different certifications and all that. Is that even relevant to anything that needs to be done?
To authenticate it?
Yeah.
I personally, this is just personal, I think that we can authenticate our own birth certificates, but how do you authenticate something that you didn't create? You didn't create it, so why are we authenticating it? But then there's the other side of that. I think that if I were going to authenticate it, I would be with my fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
You're already fully, whatever it is.
Full faith and credit.
Thank you. I couldn't get it out.
You're welcome.
Maybe your blood type, what you guys were on the other call the other night. Remember he said your blood type makes a big difference or something to authenticate. Like if you wanted to create a document to present to the passport agency or office, you could create your own.
Right, exactly. You create your own, and you would authenticate by putting your living man or woman's having arms and legs with fingerprints and footprint, maybe. Authentic.
I think that's just a whole bunch of nonsense to keep us going around in friggin' circles.
Exactly.
Especially since it takes months to do. Get the hell out of here with that.
This doesn't seem like it has any relevance to anything. Depending if you want to know, how stats or whatever. It just doesn't seem like it makes much of a difference,
I haven't really heard anybody say that they've used it for anything and like it made a difference. And I could be wrong. I might just not know the people, but as far as like Patrick Devine and all of them, I don't know that they actually ever used it. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sloan. But
I don't think she's that.
it's okay. Either she's looking at something on her phone and she hears me, or I will just ask her in a minute.
Yeah, let's tap the screen. Let's get the lights up. Let's tap it out. Thank y'all for being here, especially if you like what you're hearing. Just tap it out.
And whoever made the comment, do I always ignore the comments? No. I've been trying to answer people back as I see them come across, but I'm not a very good multitasker, so I don't do well at walking into a bubble room, let alone anything else, and that includes talking. So not giving.
Someone asked a question on there, said, Star, does anyone know how to cash in on envelopes?
On envelopes, I don't, but I know that there's a way you can make $200 per piece of mail that you get. I don't know how yet, but I'm still new to the whole postal service thing too.
Ron had mentioned she turns us into the IRS. I know if she's not clear, but she mentioned that on another time. So I don't know if you know anything about that.
I mean, why do we cancel stamps? What gives them the value? I don't know.
Someone's got some real static in their line.
Ron, are you there?
He said she was there.
I said the hand's moving. I swear to God, it's like waving. I guess I'm tired.
I don't know that it matters where you get your LLC. I think more it matters about the construction of it and making sure it's done correctly.
So your personal self, like I said, so the LLC is your all caps. So your personal being, then would that be like your banker's EIN and your trustee EIN? Is that when is that the hat you wear as your self? Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
I'm not in the chat. She just has her mic muted, but she is in the chat. If you have a question, you can just type it in the chat. Sloan's there.
Sloan, did you get your birth certificate authenticated? And if you did, have you ever needed it?
She said no, never, don't need it. It doesn't belong to you.
That's good, because there's so many wasted calls about authenticating and the steps you go through. I always thought I don't know.
Such a ridiculous process to me.
That's what I thought.
But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but the more circles and hoops they bring us through, I feel like it's just a distraction. Hey, Boogeyman, you brought with you some casino or something?
I did. That was my hand. I was invited to the Boys and Girls Club. They have like a traveling casino thing that comes around.
Oh, I was being facetious. Are you serious?
Yeah, and that was my hand. I was excited because I never win anything. So
Sloan, somebody has a question. They said their tax bill they owe with their ex has has their married name on it. How do they sign that? I think, and she can answer that question as well, but I think that's about the same thing. The apostille or whatever it is.
she said, "Why? Why does it matter?"
I don't know. I guess because the last names are wrong.
After I got divorced, I signed everything my maiden name that I went back to, so it's all you anyway. Just
Did you change it?
what's that?
Did you change it?
I
You're
did
so
change my last name back to. I changed my last name back to my maiden name, but
yeah.
I still got bills in other things sent to me in my married name. So when I did sign things, I just signed my maiden name, just like as if I do. It's all me anyway.
But you may have some bonds out there, versions like with your maiden name and last name, married last name. You may have those
Oh,
variations.
I'm sure. I'm sure, but it's still me. My married name and my maiden name is still me, and that's what I mean. I may be wrong when it comes to certain bonds and stuff, but any other bills that came in my married name, I signed in my maiden name.
Ugh. There's probably just like a system that tracks, and no matter your married name or whatever, it's all in there based on that number, either on your birth certificate or your social security card or both. But they've got a system keeps up with all of it. They know it's ours. They know who we are.
Yeah, but if your social isn't the same as just the way you're signing it, they give you grief.
And why is that?
Um, because say the IRS knows you as your married name, and then you get divorced, and you don't change your social, but you're using your maiden name. They're like, but we don't know you in that name, even though they do. They give you grief anyway. I don't know why that is. So I had to go back. I had to go down to Social Security and change it back to my maiden name. Just a game.
Yeah, just anything to make you jump through more hoops.
Exactly.
Oh, ooh.
Sloan says she uses it at her advantage.
Good. Cause.
All right, somebody wanted to. and y'all may or may not want to answer this, but someone in the comments asked if they, how can they look up the bonds?
Your audio went out for a bit. What book is that?
Yeah. Starseed, we can't hear you if you're
Oh,
talking.
I'm muted because my daughter came down here and she was being
Um,
loud.
oh.
But here is some stuff on bill of sale. I wonder.
Someone asked what book is that?
Huh?
What book is that? Someone asked.
Bill of sale?
No, the book you're showing, I guess.
It is a. Hold on.
And that's what we are, real estate. We are
Mm-hmm.
the real estate.
We're chattel.
There you go.
Bill of lading.
We're many things, vessels.
By the government, we're chattel. We're sold as property. So when I filed with any court, I stated property, always, in order to make them understand that their property, aka chattel, was not owned by them, nor do they have any jurisdiction over that property.
Speaking of property, JC, how do you claim your children back as your property?
You put them in the trust.
That's it? That's all you have to do? You don't have to file anything?
That's it. Nope. Nope. The only reason that what's it, the child services, what they call them, SPC or whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
the only reason they
ECFS.
the only reason they take children away from people is because you filed a marriage license. That marriage license took over any property that you may produce from the marriage forward, including your offspring. And once you sign that birth certificate, that's also a second liability to take over that property. Okay, so now you got two things against you.
What if you weren't married when you had a child with someone?
It doesn't matter. That's why they do the birth certificate, because you're married, that's double. You're not married, the birth certificate is gold for them.
Oh, okay. Put them in the trust. So we claim them back by putting them in the trust. I'm answering somebody's.
Correct.
Do we have to express the trust, Sloan?
I'm not sure what you mean by express the trust.
Well, how would they know? How would they know? I would say somebody say this. The state has somebody's kids.
Okay. You don't have to explain it to anybody anything. Once you have a trust EIN, once you have a trust written out in your private, nobody else has it. Number 3, once you have an account set up with the trust and you're the trustee and those kids are named in that trust, whether the court sees it or not, does not fucking matter. Your trust alone with that EIN stops any court proceedings in their tracks. And that's what people don't get. I was on the wrong side of the tracks a long time ago, okay? I was a private investigator for the state. I did a lot of messed up shit working for the state of Florida. And I learned a lot, and I said something's very wrong here. And that's when I turned my back. I said, I need to work for the people. I used to repo homes, repo cars. I used to do foreclose on homes. I used to do everything for the state of Florida.
Wow.
When I ended up in court many times, I realized something's very wrong. Very wrong here. And that's when I stepped up to the plate and I started to learn on my own and go, wait, this is so wrong. I was on the wrong side of the track. So now I'm making my amends.
That's how I felt about being a real estate person. Same thing, selling mortgages.
What is for the EIN for the estate?
EIN for a state should be a 99 number. I have a 61 and a 99 of the estate over the trust of the 99. So that I always double backed myself so that they had no leverage. I went, like I said, I went above and beyond in what I did, but you guys don't have to do that.
So your living person would be trustee EIN, that like you're living or a banker. Is that, and then the LLC is your all caps social, and then
correct.
Your all caps social. I'm just trying to draw a picture and trying to be able to.
Your all caps is your LLC, but you need to file it with the state. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that you have to do that. You can actually do the process without doing that. That's just the way I did it. Because I was the type of person, I'm coming bigger or don't come at all. I was pissed off at these people for what they've done to me. What I put other people through. I was angry. When I first learned all the damage that had been done between me, them, and other people that I caused, I was angry. It's hurtful. A lot of people, like, I remember this one home I repoed. I watched this little girl. She's walking out with like 10 little fucking stuffed animals at her house. Because I made her get out of the house because it was being repoed.
That's sad.
Foreclosed on. I bawled my eyes out watching this 3-year-old walk out of her house with these little stuffed animals. And that's what she felt was important to her. It broke my heart. And I said, something's very wrong here. I go, how can society, who talks people up for so long and say that you can live the American dream and then do something like this?
It's
how
their
can
American
society,
dream. Their American dream. That's what I do, not ours.
how can society do this to other people? But you know what they're doing? They're using people, innocent people. Look at the police officers. Look at the police officers that you have to deal with. They're naive to what's really going on. They don't know that they're on the wrong side of the track, just like I did. Or didn't know. Okay? They have yet to learn what I've learned. Okay? These people don't know. Every time you come in contact with them, they don't know that you know what's going on. And they are going to go full force against you for the system. And that's what's sad. It's heartbreaking. I used to foreclose on people's homes. Now I fight for people's foreclosed homes because I said, you know what? I did wrong here. I was on the wrong side of the tracks. God, give me a way. Give me wisdom. Give me truth. Give me the ability to help who cannot be helped. And God led me to this place. So now I go after the foreclosures. And I go after them because of my knowledge in court when I used to foreclose on homes. And I'm well knowledge because of that.
Bless your heart.
Someone's asking if this would work with
But
VA loans.
that's what it takes. That's God's calling. He puts people as fighters for him. His angels in armor.
That's good.
For him. But I had to walk the path of foreclosing on people to understand how wrong it actually was to come back and whiplash on the people that were actually doing wrong, so that I had enough knowledge to come into the courts and go, wait a minute. It is a spiritual journey. And it definitely was a spiritual journey for me.
That's been my prayer too, is to be able to help people without having to really worry about it, you know.
But you guys got to understand, there's many people on this platform, like Starseed. She's one of my favorite people because you know what? She's honest about where she's been. I have the utmost respect of where she's been because I felt that kind of pain. And most people that are listening right now have not felt that pain that she's felt or I felt. But it's also social media where you guys are looking for a quick fix. Kind of like the fixes that we all felt getting to this point. It's no different than any drug addiction.
You know,
But you got to realize this is not a quick fix, guys. I can give you all the information, but you're still going to bury yourself. You want to know why?
Because you can't.
Because you didn't care enough to take the time to stand up or know who you really are. Understand.
Hey, Sloan, what about if your kids are adults, young adults? Can you put them in? Can I put them in my trust, or do they have to do
Yes,
that?
yes, you can because they're still considered minors, and why are they still considered minors? You got to know this.
Because
Why are
they have not professed to be the age of majority.
correct? Correct.
Now,
You
also,
nailed it.
would I put them in an irrevocable or a revocable?
Revocable.
Okay.
You're going to put them as a beneficiary,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
but you need to have either a trustee that knows what you're doing and teach them, or one of your beneficiaries to at least know what's going on that you trust. You guys got to have a backup plan, or the state and federal will take everything. Knowledge is key.
Yeah, I'm just getting into this. I mean, I know a little bit about trusts. I've been reading the one of the books there on trusts. Do you have any suggestions on any good books to read about trust?
I thought we put one up earlier. There is a trust book that I have that I love. Maybe Starseed. I'm outside right now, so maybe Starseed could hit me up and ask me for that book and share it with you guys. Yeah, the Wise Trust. That's it. That's it. Wise Trust.
Okay.
That's the one I was going to say. Thank you,
Okay.
whoever
Thank
said
you.
that. Yeah,
Jane.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. I want to give credit to him. The Wise Trust is the one that I learned the most.
The Weiss Concise Trust. I think that's
Yes.
the name of it. Yeah. Okay.
I
There you
thought
go.
confusing is because you're separating your all caps name from yourself, and that's what I think. If it was just your regular trust, it would be much easier to kind of, But that's where I always get tripped up. Is knowing which, always trying to figure out. Okay, is it the all caps name? Is it the person? That's where I think it makes it more complicated with the trust. If that makes sense. Versus, had you never had a straw man, your name was just your name. I don't know if anyone else thinks that, but feels that way.
Yeah, I think that's generally what gets most of us confused is like where are we putting who's what?
Well, what you need to do, it's your trust. You're coming in as the grantor, correct?
Yes.
So you grant. You need to think of yourself as a higher power. You're coming in granting. Now, you're also granting to the trustee, which is also you. So, who's the grantor? The all caps name. Who's the trustee? Your lowercase name. You need to think of everything, everybody, everywhere, anytime, what you're going to grant. Grant. Kind of like college. Grant. And you can demand the grant. Say, like with my daughter, when she was born, I granted in the trust that I would give $40,000 for her to go to a college in the state of Florida at Florida University. Guess what that trust had to do?
Give direction.
Pay for her college.
Okay. All right.
Guess how I did it? Based on the trust. Because the IRS has to do what the trust asks. You're king and queen now. You tell the administrators what they need to do. I asked for $40 million, or not $40 million, $40,000 to pay for her college once she hit 18. Guess what she got? And I did it in a direct express card. Because she's a beneficiary. You name the price, at what time, when, and where.
You know, I thought it was that simple, but it
It
really
is that
is.
simple.
I guess it really is.
It is that simple. But people don't get that.
That's a lovely thing.
Is the banker
Well, most
EIN important to have, or is it something necessary?
the banker's EIN is next level. Okay, so you're going above what we're talking about tonight. So what you're doing is the banker's EIN is a transmitting utility. So it creates the money for your trust. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think I do.
The banker's EIN is a transmitting utility.
Oh, I get it.
That's all it is. It creates the money for the trust.
Stop it. I can't with
Yes,
this knowledge.
you are your own bank. So you name your price, when, where, whatever.
Is there a certain software that you would use and execute this process?
Well, you have to do it through whatever third party you want to deal with or yourself. So you can create your own bonds, write your own checks. You can do it that way. If you have your own account set up, you can create your own account numbers, but that's superior of what I've accomplished. So I'm not going to go there. But what you can do is you can collect through the transmitting utility. Like I loan people money. I write off their debt. I loan people money. So people say, I need this amount of money. I write it. A year later, I write it off. I take it as a tax credit. Your bank can do that too. Your banker's EIN can do that too because it's a transmitting utility. All you're doing is taking their Social Security and drawing on their Social Security. That's all the banks do now. And I only take 5%. Every other bank takes what? Credit cards take 23, 28%.
Yep, they're up to 30 now.
So I'm pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I'll give you 20. Do it right now.
How can we get how can I get in touch with you?
JC, I had a couple questions for you. Thank you for all you're doing. Earlier you said the 1041X amendment goes to what state? You said Missouri?
There's not a 1041X.
If you're doing a 1040X, definitely send it to Missouri because you're correcting the status. Yeah, you're correcting. So always send it to Missouri. But here's the thing about Missouri that people don't get. Your gold is in Missouri. Where's your Social Security? Where's your birth certificate? And that's all I'm going to say about that.
And then the other thing is you said
You didn't hear what I said. I
Well,
just
she
gave you
did.
gold nuggets. I just gave you gold nuggets. You didn't understand, did you?
we said the gold is in Missouri.
You said to send it where your certificate, your birth certificate is.
You guys aren't getting it. When you send these forms, you're going to send certain forms to Missouri. Why?
Because your birth certificate is the gold. Or Social Security.
It's a golden nugget. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. We're the gold. Like,
you're the gold, but where do you find the gold?
Where the certificate is.
No, where do you find the gold? Through the forms, through
Missouri.
Thank you. Thank you for finally saying it. Thank you.
You send the forms to Missouri.
Somebody actually watched The Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
The other question I had for you was you said
here's the thing.
LLC.
I got my unlimited money through Missouri. And I spent 10 years trying to find my money, and I didn't find it until I got to Missouri. And that's all I'm going to say.
Enough said.
Yeah. No, yeah. Don't even do anything. Just rewrite it, send it to the correct place. That's all you need to do. You can always correct any form. IRS is your friend. They know you're going to fuck up and you're going to trial and error. They don't give a shit. They're going to get paid in the end. Yeah. Just correct your mistake and refile. They won't get paid till you do. $1040X always goes to Missouri. You know why they call it an X? Because you just X yourself out of the system. And you just got your gold. And that's all I'm going to say.
Didn't she say the ES goes to Missouri as well?
ES goes to Kentucky.
Thank you.
What's in Kentucky?
Different IRS agencies work on different forms. Make sure you understand all of them to play their game. It's like a chessboard. Thank you, Starseed, for having a live tonight so that I can speak. I appreciate you, honey.
Thank you for coming on. I always love when you're here. The last live you came on and then you didn't come on for like a week. I'm like, are you serious?
Well, they kind of shut me down when I speak. I lose, like, you guys don't understand. I don't see things for weeks on end because of if I say one word incorrectly, I'm shut down off of social media. And I know I'm walking a thin line. I know I am. And that's okay. And that's okay because I will die on this hill. I will die on this hill to get the word out.
Look, I've been trying to do stuff like on Zoom or Google, and they have been shutting me down every avenue, everywhere. Like,
So you know.
like
Listen,
it's so crazy.
I was on your live the other day and nobody was seeing my stuff. I was on Wistate today. Nobody was seeing my stuff. And I'm like, this is crazy. They've
Yeah,
shut me down.
I haven't seen you, and I've been looking. Trust me.
Yeah, I haven't seen you either.
Yeah, they shut me down, and I'm like on your guys' live, and I'm like texting, but yeah, you guys don't see it.
Yeah, no, I've been like looking hard for you because after that night, I've been racking my brain, of course, and I was like, where'd she go? She can't leave me hanging like that.
Just know they're playing their game.
Because I cleaned it.
Yeah.
I cleaned it for you.
But when I'm on here, let's get the point across. Let's get the word out, and you know what? We'll keep fighting.
And just so everybody knows, usually if I put something up on my screen, it's something good. It's something out of a law book usually.
But just know, sometimes I will come on your live and I will get shut down real quick. Just know that. I was on Wistate today and nothing was showing up. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I was pissed. I'm like, what the?
Where were you?
I'm like, I was on Wistate's live today, and I was texting all kinds of stuff, but nobody could see whatever I was writing. They had no idea I was there. The shit's real when they control everything. It's real.
And did you? Never mind. That's not. I have found
and people like Starseed that go on these lives and give me the opportunity, because I can't do this. I can't go live. That's part of my disclosure. So, but what I can do is go on other people's social media and do what I do. I can only answer questions. I can't give up to, I know my boundaries, and that's it. But she opens the doorway for the rest of everybody else. And so do a lot of other people that allow me on.
I'm
thankful for that.
I'm more than grateful that you come on here and share all this knowledge.
I'm grateful too, and so is everyone in the chat. They're all saying that for both of you. Somebody asked, where do we learn which forms go to specific locations?
Well, you got to read the form. So if you have an ES and a voucher, that's going to go to 2 different places, correct? All right. No. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the ES form with the voucher, say, to Kentucky, because ES forms go to Kentucky. I know the IRS like the back of my hand. So you're going to do your voucher followed by whatever form you're filing. So if you do a 1099B and a voucher, you're going to file it with your 1099B in your state, whatever your state says. So you need to file suit. Does that make sense? You need to see, wait. Somebody just said something. What's your name? Sir, I sent ES and Bs to North Carolina. Did you not read the ES form? It says, do not file where you file your 1040 or your 1041. It says that. And this is the problem with following gurus, because you don't read anything for yourself. You should never file an ES form with where you file a 1040 or a 1041. ES forms go to one place, and that's Kentucky, Louisville. And this is what I mean about you guys. You want easy answers, and you'll get the easy answers, but you still got to pay attention and actually read yourself. If you don't do the legwork, you'll never survive.
And they'll know it too, because when they come and knocking at your door or questioning you, you won't know what to say.
Correct.
Or right.
Correct. She's right. Yep, you're right.
Yes.
We can hear you. $1040B is a voucher for a 1040 ES or a 1040. That's it should be your social security number or LLC.
Or trust.
No, trust is 1040, 1041.
Oh, sorry, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry, my bad.
Correct. Yes, you can file if you have an LLC. You can do the social on the 1040 even without an LLC. And if you have a trust in your name, you can do a 1041. You can double dip. You can get twice the money.
I love that.
Just like they do. I claim every year on my trust $300,000 for myself, my mom, and my brother. My mom is my second successor trustee, and my brother is my third successor trustee, and I pay them both $250,000 a year.
Wow.
So in addition to all the B's that you're going to file also for the trust?
Oh, absolutely. That's just casualty.
That's just maintenance.
Correct. Yeah, somebody said that correct. Yes, yes. It's just maintenance.
Salone, when opening up a revocable living trust, but you have a refund for an estate, can you deposit that into that revocable living trust, or that's conflict of interest?
No, put it into the trust. Everything that begins with the trust, ends with the trust, is the trust.
Yes, because that's the problem we're having with the banks. Is it's actually going through loss prevention right now, because they're confused about, we're opening up a living revocable trust account, but the actual refund check is in an estate.
What's the issue though? I don't comprehend.
Yes, and they said they would have to literally not. We didn't actually give them the actual refund check. We actually gave them the receipt that the RS gave us with the amount on it, and it's actually going through loss prevention. They need an extra like 48 hours. It's already, with our trust documents and that RS documents, it's still been held up almost 4 days now, and I'm just like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. At all. Yeah, what they're trying to do is make money on the back end. the
But how are they
security.
making any money on the back end when we don't even have an account open yet?
Because it's sold as security. Everything that you sign your name to turns into a bond and a security. Now, what you can do is a GSA form, 1414, 1416, 1418, and call on that bond.
But we didn't sign anything. We just dropped off the information for them to review.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Call on that fucking bond. Whatever these people are doing, I'm not sure what they're doing, but clearly they're trying to get their way with you.
And that's what my thoughts were. What we did was we just went to a whole nother bank today, and they said they're going to just look over it. I think it was like maybe 10 minutes before closing.
Listen, one thing you need to understand about the bank, they are bankrupt. That's why they call them banks. They are bankrupt. You're the money. So what you need to do as far as the trust, file a claim and name your price. That's what I would do on that situation.
Now, because these banks are kind of giving us like back and forth a little bit, I was wondering, you said something about a direct express card through the treasury, but I was under the impression
only do that if you're filing for these trusts and you don't have an account. I did mine with my LLC because my personal credit union does not honor a corporation. So I did a federal direct account, direct express, and I got my 9999999.
Okay. Now with the direct express, I had called them up and they said we would have to be on some kind of social security benefits or some kind.
Because they're testing you.
Okay. And yeah, that's what I was confused about.
Because they're testing you.
So what do I say?
They want to know what you know. Be queen.
Okay. It's just been like, by me being melanated, it's been like a little bit of stress, a little bit, even just filing our trust inside of the Register of Deeds office. They literally wanted like 3 witnesses. And
do you understand what your trust can do?
Yes, I understand, but it's just like we're getting pushback. Even just filing these documents, we got them filed, but we had to go back like 3 or 4 times for the notary, and the notary is like, "What is going on?" And we had to literally drive back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, "What is going on?"
You're queen. You're queen. Mm-hmm. And they are pushing back because they know what you're about to do.
Okay.
They know the power that you're about to take back. These people are evil and they will always push back. And that's where people fail to stand up. Wait. Let me ask you about color. I'm white. If you put me up against a white wall, am I actually white? If I take somebody else who's considered black up against a black wall, are they actually black?
That's why I said melanated.
Color is an illusion, and it's illusion to entrap you into the system that you're entrapped in.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Color is an illusion that people use as a remedy to play victim for their circumstances.
Yes, and it's not just the banks, as we literally had to drive an hour and 30 minutes out because the first register of deeds office just completely turned us down. They were like, you can't file none of this documents, not even on the miscellaneous or anything.
Do
And
the trust.
we had to drive another hour to another location, and it was just like, and then when we drove an hour, after we already drove 1 hour already, it turned us
Do the
down.
trust. Do the trust. Do the trust. They
Yes.
can't fight the trust. They cannot fight the trust, honey.